Yeah. It's on the.
Oh, yes, I will.
Okay, we will go ahead and get the meeting called to order here. Apologize about starting a little late. We had to get one of our board members called in, so. Frank won't be here. He's sick. And then Colin will be dialed in. Have a motion to adopt the agenda.
I have a motion that we move up the championship on team to now. Whatever, move everything else down. Recognize them and 5 to 3.
Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. All right. Well, we'll recognize the state championship Palms team. Pretty sure we recognized them last year too.
Yeah. Come on up.
That's pretty awesome.
Mark Ford, go!
Well, first off, I'm going to try to speak for Gina because she is teaching a class right now, and this is like prime Palms practice time, so that's what I got some of the girls here. But you were right, Justin. They are back-to-back state champions, and actually they won it. Seniors, you won it as freshmen, juniors, and seniors, so 3 out of 4 years, and it's actually the 6th state championship in Palms since Gina's been our coach. So pretty dominant to a point where even CHSAA has a bylaw that says if you are too dominant, you have to possibly move up the classification. So we're working on that, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, these girls, I'll let them do more of the talking. But it was a really it was a fun year watching them. It always is watching them. Sure, one of you invite them to your showcase. Do you know when your showcase is yet, or no?
It's in March.
We'll come back to that. But it's always amazing watching them. They work on one routine. They start like in June, July, earlier than that, to perfect one routine, and it's the monotonous of doing it over and over, but you can't get monotonous about it. You have to be perfect. And it's not like a game or something where you can go out and you can mess up in the first quarter, second quarter. They had this one routine where they got to be spot on that one time.
How long is the routine? 2 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes.
But when you watch it, Carol, it feels like it's like 10 minutes watching it. It just keeps going and going. And it amazes me is they're not only doing that routine, but they do other routines throughout the year at games with their own studios and stuff like that. So it's very, very talented. They probably don't, it's probably the card to us, but it's probably easy. But the only thing, the favorite part, I guess, of my experience working with them this year was towards state, we were trying to find them a practice place. And they wanted to get on a gym floor because that's what they're at state. And so we asked boys and girls basketball, hey, can you start practice a little bit later one night? Again, because they're dance studios, they have to practice. So they did. Girls basketball started at 5:30 instead of 4, and they were getting done with practice. And I think the girls basketball team was like, "We want to see your performance." And so the all-girls team lined up. They performed in front of them. I heard it was like one of the most nerve-wracking experiences ever. That's more nerve-wracking than state because it's your peers there. But it was really neat to see those two teams, the girls basketball team and then the Palms team, kind of come together and root for each other that night. So I'll be done talking. The rest I'll let these girls talk, and you can ask them questions and go from there.
Guys, you ladies want to introduce yourselves and what grade you're in?
Yeah. Okay. I'm Savannah and I'm a sophomore. I'm Araceli and I'm a senior.
I'm Kaya and I'm a senior.
I'm Kylie and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Brooke and I'm a sophomore.
You have a couple team members that aren't here tonight. Sophie, Addison, our other senior, Gwen, Kenzie, and Ellie. Okay. Yes.
Do you have any plans after high school? You're gonna dance anywhere?
I was thinking about just going to Ames to get my gen ed done and then figuring out what I want to
I plan to go to UNC and do ASL interpreting.
Do we have any questions for him?
What time did you draw for your spot with you have to perform on Saturday? Did you get the 8 a.m. slot?
Yes.
Well,
This
so we
year
were
was
up
later.
at 5 a.m.
Is it the first slot?
Yeah.
Did you get first slot last year too?
Yes.
Yes.
This year it was later in the day, so it was at 8 instead of like 7 in the morning.
A little
So
better.
And we're
Yeah.
still up at 5 a.m.
But you still had to go first.
yeah.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah.
Usually, yeah.
Get over.
Yes.
And so we don't get nervous watching the other team.
And who's your biggest rival? Is it still Aspen?
Aspen, but this year we went against Skyview.
And next year, if we move up to 4A, it's going to be completely different schools. So we're not going to be going against Aspen.
For you to just show 4A.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well,
I guess I also last thing, these girls did it. Gina was on maternity leave through most of the fall, so they kind of had to really stick together and work on some stuff on like sending messages in and stuff like that. And Gina, they're her coach, so it was good to see the girls work through all that stuff with their head coach not being there for a while.
I don't know who does your social media, but they're awesome. You do a great, Kylie. Oh,
Kylie.
you do a good job.
Thank you.
So I have so much fun following your Instagram page.
Thank you.
It's really good.
Let us know when your showcase is.
Yeah, they'll do a showcase that they kind of go through all their different routines. Seniors, or is it everybody kind of talks and does a little recap of what the performance they're doing. But it's impressive. They go through like all 6, 7, or 8 of their routines, and it's really impressive what they do.
I have the calendar. I can look at.
Yeah. Usually Wednesday night when we have a board meeting.
Yeah,
usually
here.
I think we were looking at there's a Wednesday they wanted to do it. There was a conflict. It might be the same Wednesday, like if one of our basketball teams are playing at state, so we might be looking at the week before on a Tuesday or Thursday.
Alright.
So we're trying to work off.
It is in fact a Wednesday. It
Oh,
is,
Wednesday, the,
March 11th.
Yep.
It's at 6:30.
yeah, well, Justin.
board meeting, we'll be good to go.
I think you can do it.
All right. Well, I have a goal.
Well,
And it's not far. It's just at the middle school.
Yeah.
you made the school very proud.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Really proud of you girls and the program. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Okay, we will move on to approval of the minutes. The first set is the December 10th, 2025 meeting.
Have, minor, but I think Weld County Commissioners should be capitalized. It's in the first 5.0. Volleyball. Sorry.
I'm on it. I got you.
So I would move approval with those corrections.
I'll second.
Those in favor? Those opposed? Okay, the motion carries. We'll move on to the minutes from the December 13th meeting.
For community dialogue, it should be 17. And then, not real sure on formalities, but do we need to have first motion of the second, or do we just
State there was no.
But then I would say the other one, we need to have the full motion, what passed.
Get it from you later. I'll clean that up. I would move to late approving the updated minutes. Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Okay, we will move on to community dialogue. One name on the-
It's me. So many of you know I'm Chris Hughes, and I have deep ties to this school. And I'm here to address deeply concerning behavior I witnessed at the last Board of Governors meeting, December 13th. As a community member, I believe it's my responsibility to hold the board to the highest standards of integrity. When public trust is eroded by unsubstantiated accusations and statements, leadership, this entire institution suffers. During the meeting, 2 board members presented false accusations as to the justification for not renewing Jennifer Weaver's contract as superintendent. One member claimed his decision was not personal or based on isolated incidents. Yet, he claimed or cited communication breakdowns, inconsistent follow-through, and erosion of trust as his justification for non-renewal. However, he didn't provide any supporting evidence. Instead, he cited the frequency of executive sessions as the basis for his criticism. In a school of 1,800 students and 120 faculty and staff, unexpected issues are inevitable. It is this board's responsibility to help the administration navigate these issues, not to complain about the workload. Using the basic function of the job to justify non-renewal suggests a personal agenda rather than a professional evaluation. Similarly, another member made baseless claims regarding student safety, countless departure of students. While these accusations were dispelled by Amanda Weedle, the accusation that student safety is compromised is an insult to our security personnel and 25 years of investment in school safety. Personal grievances regarding individual family experiences should be handled privately and not used as a public weapon against the superintendent. In my opinion, neither of these individuals is fit to serve in the school community. In the future, I hope the board members will have the courage to call out false statements and uphold the truth. Finally, I thought that Ryan did an outstanding job of discussing Jennifer's accomplishments over the past 5 years. I think everyone should review his statement. We are lucky to have Jennifer Weaver as a superintendent of university schools, and I personally look forward to her leadership for another 3 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, we will move on to your Bulldogs.
No, that's a Gianna thing. That's not a
I didn't do that either.
No, so we don't have a PowerPoint. I'm technology not savvy. So when Gianna is here, that is, I have no. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm Allison Reese, and I'm president of Junior Bulldogs.
I'm Brian Suchek. Don't remember what I do. Sports coordinator.
Love it.
We're great. Our mission remains to provide kindergarten through 6th grade students opportunities to learn, play, and grow through sports while also creating leadership opportunities for our high school athletes as we serve, so they can serve as positive role models. Since the last time that we met, we've hosted several camps and programs focused on skill development, confidence building, and mentorship. We had a girls basketball camp that had 35 campers join. We had a wrestling camp that had 40 kids. We recently revamped our wrestling club. This year we were able to bring back the Junior Bulldogs wrestling after taking a year off. A huge thank you for Kate Johnson. She's a parent volunteer. She totally headlined it and led it in organizing the program along with a lot of our parent volunteer coaches. We have a head coach, Brendan Gonzalez. He's leading our program with 7 other committed parent volunteers, and without them, we would not have a wrestling club. To kind of get it off the ground, we hosted a free week of wrestling practices, which generated a strong interest of over 70 students showing up for 2 practices. After opening registration for the club, we could only offer a spot for 36. So we have a wait list of over 25 kiddos wanting to go on the wrestling club. Continued growth is possible, but we need more experienced volunteer coaches or student volunteers to support higher numbers. So basically, we had to cap it for reasons. We can't have like 20 kids, 1 parent volunteer. That's a lot. So we're actively looking for more parents to volunteer, so all those kids are on the wait list, can't get on. Walking in the hallways, I get asked maybe daily if we found another coach. So it's really hard to tell kids that we don't. So this year, the kids that are on the club, they're going to be in duels at local schools such as Eaton, Valley, and Wiggins. And we hope to hold a university duel to raise money for the high school wrestling program and having it next. That's too big of a task for this year. Just getting up and going was great enough. We also have a POMS camp coming up, which we opened registration last week, and so far we have 56 camps up for it. When I tell you people are excited for POMS, they're super excited. It's also the #1 email that I get of like, when are you starting a POMS camp? Which I have not decided to tackle yet, but that is something on our radar. We are going to be having a halftime show on January 30th at one of the basketball games for all the campers to do their performance that they learned on January 28th to do on the 30th. We're currently communicating with the high school boys basketball coach for a boys camp. Right now, we're just not lining up on dates that work for everybody. Without the high school coaches, we're forever grateful for the high school coaches, and I hope they all know that. Without their support and their players, we wouldn't be having these camps. And we've also been able to raise over $6,000 for the high school programs. We have a lot of junior bulldog nights coming up, and these are for all the sports that kind of really help support us on getting camps going. Our junior bulldog nights are January 23rd for wrestling. Girls basketball is February 3rd. Boys basketball is February 5th. These events are super special because they connect our youngest athletes with the high school athletes that they met through camps, while also allowing us to recognize junior bulldogs. A huge thank you for Ryan. He loves when I come into his office, right? He does. Really working on getting kids being able to recognize, getting more kids to the games, and doing a fun activity. Like during the basketball ones, we're getting kids to like clap all of the high school players on, and then doing a shooting competition during the halftime. Just getting more people to the event. Your turn.
So the other part of Junior Bulldogs is we've worked with the Greeley Rec Center to create teams just for kids from university schools. In the past, it had been kind of the responsibility of just the coaches to organize their teams, but this last time around for basketball, I worked with the coaches and I talked one-on-one with the people at the Rec Center, and we were able to get all those basketball teams their most desired times and practice locations and all the kids on the teams together. We had, for winter one, we had a couple of girls U8 basketball teams that played through the Greeley Rec and one boys team. So I had a bunch of boys, I was the coach for the boys team, and I had a bunch of kids that went to our school walk in and go, wait, we could be on this team? So I think there's more interest. But the girls team really enjoyed having coordinated practices and being able to scrimmage together. My team, we made it through the season, so let's congratulate and be happy about that. And only one child broke his arm, so he was fine. Unrelated incident. Now in winter two, we have multiple boys and girls U10 basketball teams. Because we were able to coordinate with the rec center, we were able to get the boys team an entire gym just to themselves. So those two boys teams get to play together and scrimmage, and they have the whole place just to themselves. We are currently looking for teams for the spring for flag football and soccer. Also for summer t-ball and softball and baseball through the Greeley Evans Youth League. The biggest thing that we need right now is volunteer coaches. We don't really move forward with the team unless we have a coach. And we have so many kids that want to participate, and we just can't find parents to come and volunteer for those spots. It's not a huge time. I mean, it depends on who you are. But in my experience, the time commitment is well worth what you get out of it from the kids. And I think there are a lot of parents who would really be excited if we could just convince them to take a little bit of time to do it. So yeah, excited about that. Few soccer teams ready to go, still looking for some football, but yeah, it's going well.
Giving back is one of the core values of Junior Bulldogs. So back in December and November, we supported the counseling department's food drive by donating the hot chocolate and popcorn to winning classrooms across all 3 grade levels, so in elementary, middle, and high school. We also matched the donation amounts for each winning team, and we provided 12 $25 gift cards for family to purchase fresh meats and fresh produce for Thanksgiving holiday. The track and field 5K, we were able to donate $500 towards that event, and we covered registration for all of the students that were in the walking and running club that could participate in it. So we were able to sponsor 2 students to do that. For the upcoming parent-teacher conferences, we secured a nonprofit grant from Chick-fil-A to provide 100 staff lunches, and with Junior Bulldogs covering the remaining meals, so every staff member can receive a meal on that night or that afternoon. And then we are currently working with the high school students who help with the dog pound. The high school students are creating a few new Junior Bulldog design shirts, and then we'll have kids in the elementary level vote on which design they like the most, and that will be our new Bulldog shirt, Junior Bulldog shirt. We're incredibly proud of the momentum that we have as Junior Bulldogs. We have the new leadership taking over. We haven't even been in our spot for a year yet, and we're learning a lot, making a couple mistakes, but we're doing a lot. Did you point to yourself?
Yeah, I did.
I would agree. Just kidding.
It's okay.
While volunteer recruitment remains.
Well, I just
This is a
scheduled a
good
hunting
team.
trip when I was supposed to, so I had to climb a mountain in the middle of the night to call the rec center. It was crazy.
And the best part is the rec center made an error, and it wasn't ready at midnight.
Yeah,
So
I
he's
got
on
up to the
of a
top
mountain.
trying to get cell phone reception in the middle of nowhere, and the form wouldn't work. And then I called the guy the next day, and he was like, "Oh yeah, sorry about that." And I was like, "Yeah."
Dedicated.
Only half a star.
So while volunteer recruitment remains a challenge, we're committed to continuing to grow opportunities for students and strengthening our community. So thank you for your continued support, and we are happy to answer any questions. Please make them hard.
How much coaching experience people are watching? You know, if somebody's sitting there going, oh, I don't know much about.
I am very not athletic, and I am coaching a girls basketball, and I've learned a lot from watching YouTube. There are so many, if you type in like YouTube drills, they will outline a whole like practice, age appropriate, and I think I'm doing great.
You don't have to start to volunteer.
No, and if someone is interested and you have no idea what you want to do, I'm pretty sure I could ask a high school student who needs volunteer hours to stop by and give you some, because they need volunteers. But I feel like at this age, we're really focused on like fundamental skills, which is like teamwork, not giving up on yourself. It's okay to make mistakes. And I mean, there's so many different resources out there that we can.
The rec center does coach camps too, where you can go and they'll teach you some drills to get you started.
Just about any.
They could.
Are you interested?
Carol, can we sign you up?
I'm too old.
There's not an age limit.
Well, I just want to say that I'm extremely proud of how well you guys have been doing. Watching outside ins, how well the program's off. Very apparent that it's driving ready very quickly. So, proud. It's a lot of work. Kids are loving it.
Glad we were able to.
Justin, this is Con. I just wanted to weigh in Hey, Allison, thanks for all the effort the others did. I know Kate was on getting that, as well as Jackie. It's just been great being in the room with the kids and seeing all their smiles. And I mean, we've got varying levels of experience in that room, and everybody's having fun. So it's very neat to be a part of it. Appreciate everything you guys are doing.
Con is one of our parent volunteers, and one of the practices I was at, kids are just like, oh, the wrestling's going to change my life. And I have a video of Con giving the best like world advice, like this room full of like small children. And it was like so touching. It was like a 2-minute video of him like spreading like, yeah, this is going to change your life. It was great. Do you remember that? Okay.
I do, Allison. I hope they took something from it. I just remember wrestling teaching me a lot, and I didn't get into it until high school. So to see these kids have the opportunity at this age, I hope they can take a lot from it as far as discipline and just growth.
Cool. Thank you. Right. We will jump.
These are tough acts to follow. I'll keep mine short and sweet. I'm Nate Whitcomb, president of the Booster Club. We're doing really well this year. We have about $25,000 in our reserve. Not much going on. Concessions are running themselves. We've got a lot of participation. I think we're going to do $3,000 worth of scholarships coming up. I think the deadline is in March, beginning of April, for the seniors. So we do that every year. Other than that,
We'll have team like volunteer.
Yes, and we haven't. The previous regime sort of was strict about how many times each one, volunteered, and we sort of got away with that and just, make it easy on everyone. We spread the love to everybody pretty much, and it's better that way. So we helped out like I'm going to get it wrong, the video game club. They're esports, thank you. And like they're not a sport, but they came to us and said we need $500. Gave it to them. So, and they're very happy and help. We were generous with that. And other than that, any questions? Like I said, mine's short and sweet. I don't got 3 pages of notes and everything. That's diligent right there. You did a good job.
I feel like you're welcome.
We'll call on you first next time.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I like to just come and go. Any questions? No?
Well, thank you to the Booster Club for
Yeah.
You guys have turned things around a lot.
It's fun. It's good time. We like hanging out with Ryan, giving him crap.
It's good. Probably needs it.
He needs it. Yeah.
Don't fill your time by
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Nate.
We will go to staff reports. Start with Casey.
I'm gonna go ahead and pass it to Ryan first, because we talked about when we do the high school reports, getting an athletic report, and it was me.
I'll try to be somewhere in between the two we just heard. But to start off with Junior Bulldogs, having people in the school running Junior Bulldogs has been great. You're never a bug coming into the room, because there's always, you have those ideas of what you should do with the younger students here, and then you get busy on something else. So having somebody there working with you and saying, hey, we're going to do this. Yes, thank you. So Junior Bulldogs has been great. Booster Club has been great. A lot of stuff you see that goes on in athletic events because of them. Concession staff. If we didn't have concessions, people would tell you about it. We didn't have to talk about it this year. And they do great as far as getting parents to sign up with teams and everything. So both Booster Club and Junior Bulldogs, thank you guys for helping me out in my part. Doing a great job. Real quick fall sports recap. This kind of, Dave's got a major project going on, kind of came to me and tried to find some information. We believe, and I've only gone back to 1995, I'm trying to go back a little bit further, but in a calendar year, there's not been a school to win a girls basketball state championship, a volleyball state championship, and a palm state championship, and a softball state championship. like in a calendar year. So
Ever.
ever. We are the third school ever to win a softball and volleyball state championship in the same year. It only happened 2 other times, once by Valley and once by Eaton. So we're in good company there. So our kids are doing really well, and then you throw in like our marching band, what speech and debate has done in the past. So it's just not athletics. All our activities actually. This past year has been, it's amazing. I did have to go buy a new trophy case because we're out of room, what we have in the patio. So it's a good problem to have, and it's our coaches, it's our kids, it's our teachers. They're the ones doing all the work. I just make sure transportation's good to go and schedule the events for them and stuff. So those are the guys that get all the credit for everything they've done. So it's been a really fun fall season. Let me see, going into the winter season, as we're starting here, boys and girls basketball, they followed suit. We had over 30 girls go out for basketball. Numbers are still around that high 20, 30 range, which is great. And again, it goes back. We have some girls playing basketball that who didn't play or haven't played but want to be part of it. So that's really fun watching them. Boys basketball, we debated kind of like the volleyball thing. Should we have 4 levels or shouldn't we? A lot of it came down to really, it's a terrible excuse. Gym space, coaches, stuff like that. It's something, if we can prepare for it. Volleyball, we're already talking, we're preparing for 4 levels next year. Basketball, possibly 4 levels. Have a plan ahead of time. Wrestling numbers are huge. They're over 40. Really, I think Coach Croson and staff's done a great job of, Brian, you've been in that wrestling room. It's a wrestling room made for about 20-some kids, and they still getting work done. They're young. Wrestling's really, really young, so it helps in that sense. But they're coming around. They're having a good year. Girls basketball, just checked. They slipped from number 1 to number 2. I guess that's okay. But their loss was to Lutheran, who's a classification higher than us, the number 2 team. Boys, they're like 12th right now, but their 3 losses are all the top 10 teams. So it's, again, fun people to watch, fun groups to watch. Our one big wrestling invite we will have next Friday. We try to structure it so every kid varsity JV will get a home match that night and stuff. So next Friday will be our last home wrestling, and then we have obviously basketball throughout the rest of this. So that's good. Speech and debate this Saturday, correct? As their big competition here at the school, they'll take up the whole Pearson building, as we call it now. Even telling elementary teachers, hey, we're going to be using your classrooms and stuff. So that's a big deal. And I'll be honest, somebody's asked me about speech and debate, and I said I leave that to Mr. Uribe. You just tell me what you need, and I stay out of the way. But our kids run it. Our kids and our staff run it, so they do a wonderful job. And people want to come, and people are constantly asking Mr. Uribe, hey, can you host another event? Because he does such a job. So we have that going on. Nodge Bowl has also going on right now. Nodge Bowl numbers are probably ones a little bit lower. Mr. Horn blames esports for that. Says our kids are playing video games, sports, instead of being hitting buzzers and stuff. So, but they're still doing a good job. So I think I'm hitting everything up. Esports, they in their season, they did one of the games, I forget what game it was, did make the bracket, state tournament bracket. We had to play, it was like Boulder Ridge or some school in Denver, that's 3 times our size. Luckily, esports next year will be going to 2 classifications, so we will no longer have to play against the top-end schools. So, but they did, again, Mr. Butler does a great job with that, and we daydream about the days of you walk into his little gaming studio and video, screens and consoles and grandstand behind and stuff. But he wants to have a competition in one of the gyms with the video board and get kids in there. Says kids playing might freak out, but that would kind of be cool if we could. Spring sports, really, this is what's really crazy. Spring sports will start at the end of February. So we already started having meetings with our spring coaches just to keep you guys informed what we're doing. We'll have spring meet with all the head coaches, assistant coaches. We go through that handbook that we revamped last year, kind of here's what our expectations of, here's what you're going to get, from me as far as evaluation, here's what your head coach is going to do for evaluations for your assistant coaches. Really trying to push stuff out to parents so parents know when they register. We do have a handbook, but a lot of parents just sign the registration because it's online. They don't read it, so we're trying to push that information out to parents so they know ahead of time. Here are the expectations in our athletic handbook. We're scheduling that meeting with coaches. We're already scheduling every season now. We've been doing training with our athletes on a bully hazing video. Found a really great one through the National High School Federation of something. But it talks about just everything that goes into it. really pushing not only the victims, not only the individuals that are involved, but anybody else in the room who witnesses stuff. Got to stand up. There's time to stand up and say stuff. So it's a really good training. The kids have really, I think, really bought into it, and I appreciate that with them. So that's all getting scheduled for spring sports. And then finally, I think last time I talked to you, we sent surveys out about adding some possible sports. When I sent it out on Parent Square, I told you I got a whole bunch of responses back. Well, a whole bunch of more emails, like not university schools emails. So I go back through and send an email and say, hey, you send personal email, can you tell me your name so I can get in contact? I found I had a whole bunch of parents talking for their kids. Well, yeah, my kid wants to do this, my kid wants to do that. So we end up having a lot of duplicate stuff on there, and which is fine. But I got to move forward with this. Golf was probably a popular one, boys and girls golf, where we didn't have too many duplicates there as far as names to really seriously look at what it's going to take to add those programs. Girls, boys soccer, not as much as I thought. I thought we'd get a lot. There hardly any. Girls soccer wasn't that many either. And then there's flag football. And a lot of girls that signed up for flag or soccer were also your flag football ones. So I got to do a little bit more investigating on that. I know District 6 is starting a flag football team for girls next year, but that won't keep us from starting one if we don't. But anyway, golf is something we need to push. What's that? Sorry.
Same season.
Same.
Soccer.
No, girls soccer's in the spring, flag football's in the fall.
Okay.
So really the golf, we kind of want to move forward with that, see what we need to do to make that happen. Soccer, I don't know if we'd have the interest to sustain it. And then what we want to do about flag football, let's do that. Do you just jump in the water and go, or BC? So anyway, that's it, I guess, for me. Any questions? Thank you guys for support and everything. Casey.
Thank you.
I like that, that was good. Thank you.
And Ryan and I was in with him the other day, and banners since he came 12 years ago, and it's 30 banners of first and second place in, I think I counted 10 different programs. So it's not just, a long stretch of our history where we had a lot of gymnastics banners and nothing else, right? And I think my mom was on some of those teams.
Yeah.
But we're seeing success across the right. So, and new programs too, like years when we've added. Softball's not that old. State is not that old. Gotten some. My report stuff, and I will kind of try to fly through some things. Please ask questions if you want more information, but my hope is not to bore you with too much. I think we already talked about moving the May meeting for the band concert.
We did talk about it, we haven't made a motion to officially.
So I left myself a note to remind you guys in this meeting that the May board meeting conflicts with, not to do that. We looked at moving the band concert and honestly, so if you guys could move, that would be awesome. So I was hoping maybe May 12th or maybe the board meeting. You guys work that out. New courses I know is later in the agenda, so I can ask questions about those an hour later. We are already starting course registration. We ran a couple sample registrations with students to kind of make sure that the portal was working with District 6, and then Monday we did a training with all of our advisors so that they can support. One of the things that happens for us, if kids under request, over request, throws off how much we can match up schedules. So trying to get the registration right on the front end is a really big deal for that. This week we're doing 8th grade tours. So we did half of the 8th graders today. We'll do the other half on Friday. And all the kids come up and they get a tour led by high school students, kind of familiarize them with where things are here. A lot of them went to elementary school here, but that doesn't mean they know where freshman English is, or get to talk to high schoolers about what were the hard teachers and what are the policies and what's lunch like, and will you get pushed into your locker? That was my favorite one today. You get pushed into your locker a lot when you're a freshman, and I love that our high schoolers are like, right? Also, my first group, we do 2 groups a day. My first group today, I think the tallest kid in there was maybe 4'6", And then the next group, I think the shortest kid in there was my height. So I don't know if they grouped them by height, but we've got some very small 8th graders and some very large 8th graders. So that was kind of fun to see too. We are going to do some new schedule things for next year. I'm not really telling students about it until they've done course registration because I don't want to confuse them between course requests and schedules. But what we're going to do is get advising back to every day again. So we'll do block 1, block 2, then advising, and then a skinny block 3, then lunch, block 4 or 5. What will happen in that skinny between advising and lunch is it'll be pretty much just freshmen, which means that'll kind of force in open blocks for sophomores and above so that they can have a longer lunch, shorten our actual lunch, and close campus for freshmen so that they stay. They don't need to be wandering town any more than they already are. I would love to close campus for everybody, but we don't have the space and capacity for it, and I would get that look from a lot of them.
You got it from these two.
So we'll start with freshmen, and then we can see if we can expand that as we go. But I think if campus is closed too, that will increase club participation at lunchtime because their free time to wander town. I think it'll increase. Kids are willing to go get help from a teacher because they're not out walking to Wing Shack and back. And also I know when you close campus, Kirsten can feed them and she's great at getting kids through the line. They don't take long to chew. And so you don't want to let it be too long and then you get other issues, right? Behavior and stuff like that when they're stuck. So that allows us to condense the schedule a little bit and some opportunities for makeup work. So that'll be our schedule for next year. There will be a couple classes offered in there that older kids can take if they want to, but pretty much just like a few electives. Juniors and seniors can still have other off block day, but sophomores, that would be their only off blocking. So that I'll kind of explain to the kids once we get registration. The other thing, I met Monday with representatives from District 6 about their internship program that we've been a part of for 12 years now. It's a great program. It's continued to grow, kind of ups and downs with COVID and things like that. I know, Eric, you've been very involved in it for a long time. They have been great about working with us, about including us in all of that, matching and support and mock interviews and all that kind of stuff. They've gone to they have a new person managing it. Have a system for applications that we need to buy a subscription onto. It's not super expensive. We're working on getting that. And then the other thing is they've transitioned some of their funding of those internships to MLO dollars. Had grants for a long time, but now businesses are funding a lot of it, and MLO dollars are funding some of the new. And we have never put any of our MLO into it, but they've still been taking our kids as. So working out options to give our fair share for that. I think they're going to be great working with us on not overcharging us, but that the ratios work out. We generally have had the 30-year program. I think they're up to about 200. So we're somewhere around 10. Yeah, we've had, like I said, we've been doing it for 12 years. Kids it's a paid internship in the summer. It counts toward their graduation requirements. They get 150 hours minimum. Several of our kids are able to get to that 160 to get a full credit. Get paid, but they also get credit for the hours they do. And in the past, we've placed them. It's going to be more like job interviews and applications this time. But kids have gotten great experiences. We had kids at Colorado Railroad Museum in fact, I think one of our kids is still working. Eric's had dozens of. What's that?
96.
96, there we go.
He doesn't.
A lot of dozens.
We've had District 6 actually host quite a few, so we had one kid working in the bus barn over the summer and learning diesel mechanic stuff, and then he went to diesel mechanic. Had kids that, I remember one in particular, Abby Flores, her mom's a teacher here. She didn't love the placement I got her that year. If you know Abby, she's an amazing, I think.
I was gonna say, yeah.
But,
She's solidly grown up.
Yeah. She wasn't crazy about her placement. She got placed with an insurance agent, no offense, Con. And she was like, that's not really something I'm all that interested in. Well, that agent became a mentor for her and a woman that like helped her through a lot of things. Even into college, I think she worked there for a while after she was done. We had 2 girls that got the last available placement at Colorado Water Jet, and their job is all summer, but they ended up running forklifts and learning to use water jet equipment, and it was like great experience. Girls that like, so consistently Habitat for Humanity takes several, like, tons of great opportunities in our, so that's definitely one of the programs I think has really benefited. And a lot of times the kids that get into those are the ones that don't have a personal connection to find their own intern. So we're finding kids that like, and my parents don't know anybody I can do something with, apply through this, my counselor will help me, and then I'll get. And there have been some bad ones too, but far and away the majority of them have been. So I'm super excited to continue working with them on that, and the district has been. None of the other charters really have joined in. Once in a while, one of the charter schools will have one kid. But for the most part, we've been the only one that's been a. That when I talk so long, my computer. My password.
It's gonna get long.
Career Academy applications just started, so that's another program that we've had amazing success in. Kids that have gone straight into careers in welding or auto body. We've got 2 or 3 pilots in the last couple of years. Ames does a great job of those. So those are, I think we have almost 20 kids doing academy. And probably the most popular is Med Prep. We have a lot of kids that get their CNA, several EM kids, but welding and auto shop have continued to grow. I've yet to get a kid into air traffic control, but one of these days I'll. And then they're opening a new diesel. Teachers have been working on PLC work this year, so we meet as departments once a week for an hour and work on sort of that job embedded instruction and goals and growth. What I like about doing it by department is each one has individualized, right? So English, really working on building inquiry journals and how they're teaching thinking, writing, research processes. That doesn't really make sense for the PE guy, right? So they're doing an audit on their standards. Are they hitting everything? Are they aligning their facilities? What do they need to do there? My career in tech ed, I have 3 teachers in that one because of schedules. Those were the 3 that were available, and they're all in their first 2 years of teaching. So we're doing pretty intense, like how do you be an advisor and classroom management and planning that's way different than if it was with a experience department like science. So those have been really good. We've been doing little daily meetings after school every day, 5-10 minutes. The best part about that is once we're done doing our meeting, they're all in the same room, building connections together, they're talking. And each week we award a Bulldog of the Week for staff, and they just pass it, whoever won it the week before passes. So that's just a way to kind of build that positive, tell good stories. A couple more things I've been doing. Just a few things for networking and training. Patriot League principals meet monthly, and I've been leading those meetings, but it's a huge part of just sort of building together. What are you guys doing with AI? What are you guys doing with cell phones? What are you guys doing with vaping? What are you seeing as far as behavior trends or curriculum curriculum trends, things like that. And then I was able to go to the Toynton Leadership Training Academy this summer. I call it Principal Camp, and my wife makes fun of me for it. But we had a good time with 37 other principals around Colorado. And we meet once a month on Zoom also to do continuing development that's facilitated by UNC's Academy. Mike Mazzarana did it several years ago, and so that has been awesome. And then AI. We did AI lunches for about 2 months. Katie Jones and Joy, my wife, really facilitated a lot of that. I participated in all of them with them. They really took just a hard look at what are we doing with AI, how are we supporting it, how does it fit in education. So I've got several different documents, and I can share whatever you want, but I didn't want to print out a whole bunch of extra stuff, and I can just email them to you if you're interested. But the ones I wanted to highlight worked on 2 main things, and we've certainly got more to go. But 5 core skills and then how they relate to AI. So the core skills are metacognition, strategic thinking, self-awareness, emotional awareness, and mindfulness, which are sort of core student and life skills. And then how are we relating that over to AI? What is the way that connects to how you're using AI and how you're learning to think and in how you're learning to discern? And how are we teaching those skills? Remember, as a teacher, I would tell kids, summarize this. And I realized I never really taught them what I expect when I say summarize. Sounds like something we all know how to do, and we think kids know technology just because they're kids. But if we don't teach them what we expect, then we're going to get a random mix of oddities instead of a consistent growth pattern. So that's one we're still working on. And then we worked a lot on a draft of like a rubric for how we're using AI. So all the way from level 0 is no AI use. This one you may not use AI for anything. And then in the middle we have generative AI in terms of assisted task delegation or partnership, right? So Katie and Joy have good examples of this. When Joy uses AI, she tends to tell it to do a task that it can just do faster for her, right? I know Eric talked about some of the programming stuff. So I don't know how many of you know my wife very well, but she is a very task-oriented person, very efficient. And when she can get AI to do it even faster for her, but she's very specific and she doesn't really trust it, she just wants it to do some tasks that it can handle, right? Katie, on the other hand, is kind of a lot more, she wants to use AI more as a partner. She wants to have it as a thought partner. She wants to have it help brainstorm for her and give her new ideas and combine different things. So we talked about students and with teachers, those are 2 different categories of how you're using it. So is it you're asking it to do a task, but you're managing really closely what you're asking, or is it more conversational and trying to be more of a partner and a brainstorm teacher, more like a colleague, right? When I used it for my class that I taught, there's some I would put an outline of what I want for the notes, and it would make it pretty. It's not doing any of the real thinking for me, but it draws some images and does some once in a while when it thinks it should do alien pictures for the revolution, but it's just doing that task for me, right? But Katie talks about, I want to come up with this PD program, help me come up with ideas, draw from these different sources, make sure it's, and she's having a conversation with it and then drawing. And then the last one is all AI, right? So when we've got a program that's doing credit recovery, for example, pretty much just the AI walking the kid through responsive learning wise through a program, and there's very little teacher interaction. It's just something we've set up, obviously a managed program. Those are kind of the far end uses of the AI. Questions or things you want more of about that? I can share.
Yeah, I'd love to see.
Yeah, I knew you would probably want to
yeah.
see those in particular, but
Just to put it out there, like the new kind of those forefront models
doubling the power about everything. So what was available or what's capable today will not. So, the next year as we start. Something that the students be able to actually engage, and maybe a software development class where it's like, okay, here's really AI-driven software development. I've been running software development teams for 30 years. It's all AI-driven. Or, a good use for a Google school for most things, Notebook LM. How you can load in, have it give you, if you're an audio learner, an audio learner, visual learner, visual things. You want flashcards, you want to quiz yourself, quiz yourself. And we're seeing this now really as a study guide and study partner, especially at the college level. And it's like, okay, by high school, somehow we've got to start introducing some of these tools almost as an AI opportunity for students.
And actually, one of the people that's most of that so far is our quite a few build a study guide and those sorts of, or even ask 2 different AI chatbots the same question and talk about the different answers you apply. You are seeing it with the developments. AI didn't used to be able to give you sources. It didn't used to draw from specific scholarly sources, only drawing.
I get 200 sources and I can tell it give me only.
Right, and it didn't used to be nearly that good in terms of the research side, and it's far away.
We just solved 3 awareness problems in 72 hours. Set of problems that are open that have been 30 years solve these problems. The new ChatGPT 5 just solved 3 of them in 72 hours. It's like, wow, okay. But anyway, all that's just fun. But we can figure out some way for the student to go, I want to take a personal initiative to take a class in some of these tools before I go into college or the real world, in some way, shape, or form. I would love to see that as an opportunity.
Some of the basic stuff we want to work in for younger students, because if we're using these use rubrics classes, haven't taught them those skills until they're seniors, that's not fair to them. We want to work some of it in younger, but I like the idea of a more advanced.
There's a great one because you get immediate feedback how to start talking to the guy, get the results you're looking for, and you get those results immediately. Anyway.
Yeah, and our computer science classes are kind of due for a revamp anyway, so.
Yes.
I like the idea of how you get into a mindset of how somebody just stop the class.
Yeah.
How you can utilize it in class, whatever. Like getting it, teaching people how to use it wisely.
And the ethics of it.
Responsible.
Absolutely.
The more that we normalize it, less it. I know a lot of my classes, tell them, I know that they're going to use it, and so now it's just all right, use it wisely, know how you're using it. Make them cite it just like we would make them cite other research. And tell me what prompts, how did you use it?
Tools are all over the map. I've seen some that are steel cage around the building because any use. Others that are oh, we just really pay attention, we're sure they're using it, but we're not. Or others that are really trying to teach it and use it. I will share, I've got a folder that Katie put together and a couple documents. Those with her email address. I think if I share with that address. Any other questions about? Thank you, Mr. busy.
Thank you for taking it on.
It's been fun, and I was glad to do it. So,
As far as the board meeting, have to have for action or
Probably right at the end of
have any discussion items?
I was gonna say,
Vote
we
on
just
it,
need to
just
change
use
that
that.
date and what
Yeah.
the dates
Yeah.
on the website.
Just want to make sure we do it right. So,
Yeah.
it's just an administrative.
discussion item here.
So, it's only been 6 days since we talked, so I'll try to be short. But there's a lot's happening. Construction update, we have block and it went fast. Walked by recently, and we're almost grade. It's also crazy to see how tall that building's gonna be because everything that's happening is all below. We haven't even gotten to the floor yet. But it's been really cool to watch that. We had a check-in on Tuesday. We're actually ahead of schedule. And obviously, who knows in the spring weather, right? But we don't have a lot of delays with we may be done end of April. That's going really well. We finally decided the Palms Team Delight. We were able to find the money to make. So we're super excited about that. It's gonna help. In addition to this year, I was also talking to today. They've got 9 wrestlers out. The high school room was made for way less than it has, but if we were running a wrestling room here, I think that has been made for about 10 kids, maybe. So we talked about opportunities and new buildings, new hallway walls. I don't know if anybody's looking at us, but it was just people everywhere. The Roosevelt team had 2 kids, like I said, we were at about 6. The gym was. So engagement is certainly up. So that building is going to get tons of use as soon as we are going to be able tiny little we do have a room that is almost done. We're going to course and teacher promotion part of it. That's ever been the old security that combined. That actually is going to be elementary teachers, especially, have been really hard all the time. That's going really well. That, like anything, you fix one thing, you break another. So great news is we're moving fast. Great. The bad news is we're not. So be communicating with parents the rest of this week about how that changed. Basically, what we're going to do is have one giant group. But we have to have that wall is going to be so tall that we've got to have the height of the wall. Got to be away. If you've been out at all, it's just about to walk. So we've got to close the loop. So, like I said, the good news is they're moving fast, and even if so, that will be fun. But the good news is we already flexed at elementary and actually set our time up. We've last got it down to about figure this out too, but it almost like change where your children are. So that's the downside.
What are we gonna do with the sight lines? Is the building gonna end up site or
No, so it's definitely gonna make a long hallway for the old main entrance bell tower, right? Like that wall.
okay,
So-
there's still standoff though from the loop, so
Yeah.
little kids running from the side of the
Yeah, yeah,
building
yeah.
is not gonna have a
No,
chance
that'll
to-
be fun.
Okay.
It, like I said, the sight line, once it's finished, it'll be tough, is that will be sort of a wall. Going into the old.
Was there still a buffer?
Yeah, yeah. It is, the building is right to. On the other side, patio. There's. Corners all the way. Able to get it all. Degree strap. All of our. So, like I said, full speed ahead on that. We finished almost. Facilities assistant. Through you and I, it's gone through levels and network. That should be approved. Keep tweaking the number a little. It goes up a little, goes down a little, but I think we're right in the neighborhood. So got that finished. We are working on the best grant. One of the things we had to do was get our security. We came right before break and already got us. So that sort of gives us improvement. So got that checked off. So been piece by piece on that. That up now. The Raptor, and we were at a bit of a standstill. I don't remember how much of the story I told you, but we work in conjunction with district. So we've always used it from an emergency standpoint. We had to get District 6 to work with us to add the new app we use. Use that all of district. Even though none of them are going to be using that, still had Zoo Major. And that took a long time, but we got an email this updated and hacked. So David and I are going to start working pretty soon on the app. We just set as a preference as a parent. And each day. It's going home. I'll say I go to log in, it goes up. This way today. Walker. If grandparents are household one person we communicate to the teacher that no, there's not really anyone. We're excited for all of that. That's another thing. Anytime we try to get those parents, so we'll work through that. But that was good progress. So I'm excited we finally got that nailed down. Enrollment is another thing that we work with on the district. Registration, enrollment through the district. So we met with here last week. Look like in the new system. One of the things that we got to see just randomly, we're up to about so great news. Years our there have been years that a lot of sad because we certainly aren't taking. Where's Ryan? We're not taking 4,300, I promise. But there are a lot of people who want to come here, and some of those big increases have come at the high school. It used to be that those were predominantly at kindergarten, but we are having a lot of people who want to join in middle, and I really. That's really a good problem to have. That was an interesting number to see. What else did I want to do? Oh, so just like high school has been working on PLCs, Mike Moore and I, in response to our meetings with teachers, opened up 3 new PLCs, meeting, working with 3rd grade, March 1. And one's really working. We've got now our 6th year of everybody doing fully kindergarten. They made the best decisions they could when we transitioned. So they're super excited to reimagine that curriculum a little bit. We feel like behaviors based experience. We're having more kids that don't have any preschool experience, or if they do, it's a week when they're having a lot of time alone with the screen. So you're having kids of that experience now studying with 22 kids. We're taking them to specials and lunch and recess. They're going to really dig back into best practice and see if there's some appropriate. Try to think about how to be really intentional about structured play. So that was a voluntary thing where it was like, hey, you said this was a thing, and we want to meet, and every teacher was there. 3rd and 4th grade, we're working on how to try to bridge the gap between our really solid research-based curriculums that we've invested in the last couple of years, and how do we also that elementary brains are here to learn internationally. Right now, it feels like we have a little bit of a high school now, almost. Literacy block, here's math block, here's unit, and it's both kids and the teachers. And so 3rd and 4th grade are really working on how do we put those back into, we still want to use it because it's really excellent, but how do we use that to make it a little bit more all the different stuff about this, we're going to read about this, and none of it feels fine, which like I said is not how elementary brains are here to learn. And there's a lot of teacher enthusiasm around all of that, so I'm excited. Grade is for sure not my strong suit, but it's awesome to talk to them about. I think they really need me in the room to say, yeah, that sounds like a great idea, we should definitely do that, let's keep working on it. So I'm excited about that. So like I said, and Katie, they didn't start last week, they're going to start in February. Katie's going to work with 5th grade. They're going to work on building a project-based learning unit. And then I wanted to tell Jeff Place tells good stories. So my favorite story this week, I was walking a kindergartner who came in late down to class. We were talking about what she had done over the weekend, and she's like, I've decided what I'm going to be learning this semester. And I was like, oh, you are? Well, tell me about it. I'm going to be learning how to tie my shoes. When I learn, I'm going to be able to do it every day by myself. I'm not going to need anybody here to help me. And I was like, that sounds really great. And she's like, and I'm going to work on it every day. And I was like, all right. So PLPs are alive and well. Like she had a need. Yeah. Oh, so I feel like sometimes we forget that some of those core things that have always been a part of university. That one was alive and well. She had a but it's been happening with me for the last 5 days. Any questions?
All right, we'll move to the business manager's update.
Hey. On December 31,
being presented tonight. Number budget is where we're at. $484,400. Okay. General fund balance sheet, asset section, that money market account grow in cash. Seeing those prepaid expenses grow, and then under the liabilities, you're having, remember that's all from District 6. As we get a little farther down the road, we're going to need 3 months that are not paying us. We're going to need about on the revenue side, we're right there. Districts did reconcile everything except for the actual account. With 802, so we have a little. Expenses, salary and benefits, on payments, all running right where they need to be. Those are our big expenses I always want. Under extracurricular, supplies and those higher than I anticipated. But we are not going to have to pay for those field lights. So that's under the facilities expense, we've got field services, they're running a little. It's going to increase. Minimum wage is going up, so I'm not exactly sure. The minimum wage goes from 81 to 6. The joint use expense higher because cost, much higher than I thought it. Under the operating expenses, advertising and using Indeed. Positions, there's line item is a little higher because 5,000 of budget and the use fees, background checks. I did move the behavioral specialist out of MLO safety and I put it insurance, it's paid pretty much. We still have some deductibles that we have periodically. And we did have one claim this year, the high school science room. And put a little more money in. Postage was a little higher, which is utilities. We'll adjust those just to protect. The capital fund. We have a deficit position. That fund always do. Very little revenue that comes into there. If you can imagine, we just interest that we get, but mostly we're just doing our sleep. That's always going to be in the next.
If you remember, that's where we're paying.
For you, really hard.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think this
saying, don't forget, that's where technology expenses are budgeted. For the last few years and the next few years.
Also, in those boxes below where I said where we're at, our fund balance, that's what we're basically using. And see those ending. We still have the expenses, building and grounds, the furniture and and then of course the
They
kitchen
were here
remodel.
again, yes. It's an IT problem, but anyway, it's an IT.
Kitchen remodel, most of their bills. And then I told her, even though that's press where's work reason there is the cost that I'm looking at there just that's all I have on financials.
Sue? All right. On to the agenda.
You guys, if I could just a little bit of wording on there. And we had a couple move with all only this. So Jennifer, she's actually a long-term substitute. We've got resignation. Lacey moved. So we wanted to put where they're at.
Do we have a
She's not. That's end of year.
and
I know. I was gonna say, if we say just the one, it's still significantly. And also you'll see on there, that Jeff, February. I didn't have to share. Very well.
are they working together?
Starting the. I think it's, he's starting next week. We'll have a little over a month together. He wouldn't start. There was no one. But he'll. They won't any of that. They know each other and build each other.
All motion to.
Carol. Excuse me.
Yes.
AJ.
Yes.
Bill. Con.
Yes.
Scott. Eric. Ryan.
Second. Proposal.
All that.
Yeah, I was good. I think the student reps, all of it.
Oh, shoot.
I think it's
They are paying
for those
attention.
looks.
I tried to volunteer Lily to coach several teams in the middle of
I think Ashley was telling me earlier this year. So.
Do I really know?
Both be excellent junior ball coaches.
Ooh. Let's get some rugby up in here.
So Jeff went over the courses with us.
There you go.
You gonna be taking that?
No. Actually, who knows?
And then we'll
Oh, this is second.
Carol. AJ.
Yes.
Bill. Con.
Yes.
Scott. Eric. Amanda. And Ryan.
I would like, have you have any?
I can definitely work on that.
Read it, buddy. Gotta study it.
Okay, we will go on.
Yes, yeah, I noticed yours too.
I started making notes on my when I was going. Then I just said it.
So, as you recall, on the right-hand side, we're gonna look at the yellow sheet. That's the general fund budget. On the far right-hand column, I have those lines numbered, and then this white sheet correlates with those. And again, I'm just at the top and go. All right, line number 5. That's actually. 6 is the PR. The C. 7, 8 are reconciled numbers. That's MLO actually a little bit. Yeah. 9 through 12 are the purchases also. Those 2. So on line 14, that's our and then of course the column that shows revised budget, that's the dollars and the net is. So really what I'm asking to approve tonight is those budget. Moving on, line 17, that gas. I don't know whether we're on line 18, that's our capital dollar. Major, so line is where we end revenue for.
You guys just want to counter a little bit.
that's drastic.
Awesome to have it now from a budget standpoint. Numbers. Going for a while.
We,
It's shaken
for
us
that
time.
6.5 then?
Yeah, that's closer and would historically have been closer to like 605.
I think we really trying to
I just.
No,
That's
yeah.
not where we. That's not where we're.
Okay, so moving on to expenditures, I try not to mess with salaries and the rent because they're our biggest. First one I really want to talk about is on 2, so 2 under instruction. Line 55. That's that reconciliation that I put in last year about those and so in line 6, I did add a little more MLO dollars. I added some money back into so I did move some more of the MLO dollars in there. I also yes. Trying to get that a little more realistic. Moving down line 5, lights are off. So I moved 20,000 that. Then I moved the other 1,000 of that to and then there, and then on 3.
Vehicle maintenance. Looks like we have it.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind, back.
We just have more vehicles. That's they are getting older.
Do you
Most of our
still have
repairs
that
been on
blue?
the new bus.
That blue bus?
Yeah.
Is that one of the ones?
No, that's a
It's a new blue bus.
That's a
We
new
got that
one.
very
I say, it's not the one.
That was an
that
Esper
had
one.
bus
No.
from Wyoming.
But it's still, I mean, it's still 6 years old. I
Yeah.
mean,
New one.
Well, I was.
No, we got it with
Not that
one.
I think our, yeah. Okay, so our custodial services, I talked a little bit about that. Cost of living. Line 72 is the joint use cost. Security equipment, I had cut that all MLO dollars. Then again, the as I mentioned.
Keep adding.
Yes, and that's the other thing is, our utilities are. Line 79, I mentioned that, we just already. He is. $980. Utilities are just I can never get, I don't know why they, but they are gonna go up mostly. We are not watering the field anymore, but it's just going up, so,
Dumb question.
no dumb question.
Have they actually checked their decision using?
I have not done that.
That might be something.
I might. And I,
But we just ought to see if they're doing that or if they're based
well,
on usage.
I do know that I called because stormwater, they were charging like then 3 or 4 months called again and she said, well, we've already, so it's
I
most
just know
of
they,
it is
they
the
base a
infrastructure.
lot on estimates. They don't have data.
Yeah, they do that a lot with
So-
the electric. That's how I have. So let's look at capital fund. This one's a little. So when we to make it simple, when we do budget in May, I don't have all of the data yet, right? So last year, I hadn't gotten the best dollars returned yet. 30th or that's that. Because we did get it last year, I removed it from revenue this revision. And it is now down in the box near the beginning of Ellen. That number was like that 1.2 million is added to my one. Just moved. Private sources that 18, that's of the Well Trust. That was got it. So they that. Then the interest is a little bit better. Kind of left the rest alone except for project IMLO estimated plus A when we budget ended up, and then of course the model is still one last year, which is in our surplus, and then I always put in kind of a line item of basically what is, oh, then I added one more thing on there. You'll see other revenues. The auditors want us to, when you have, on our audit, we have 4 different funds. For general fund, building corporation. If we in oil and gas building, it is classified as in the building. So when we move it, capital over here, they don't want. You want me double. So I moved that 5,000 from the oil and gas for that. Okay. So So I am asking that that column, the column from the left on the budget, be approved as
That two motions or one?
you can do this.
I'll move that.
Go the other way. Ryan, Amanda, Eric, Scott, Don.
Yep.
Bill. AJ.
Yes.
Carol.
Went pretty well.
The numbers.
Well, first, you can always look at my notes. Yeah, questions? We haven't had a meeting recently.
Okay. We move on to the school calendar. Back. Anna, this is yours, right? Maybe here. Is your blame or?
In school early August and going to like we happened. So,
Hey, that Memorial Day, that's
yes. Because why? It's gonna
Only
rain
because
next
Memorial
year.
Day is late this year, not next year.
But it rains the first 2 weeks of June. I have to be in school.
it also snows.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. And then you go back to Whoa. It makes sense to me, but
This is
little bodies seem to think it is time to go when you hit the end of May. So, I could just.
I will say the one thing we tried the most in this one was days. Tried 5 different. We didn't change a whole lot in this. Days. A week. A wing.
Spring break.
Have we always gone out on a full school day?
No. So we did, because we went all day on Friday. Or no, half a day on Friday. And so we want to do give that half day.
Elementary.
They're going,
But on Wednesday.
and that's part of this. Those fourth.
No, they don't have to have.
Start. First time we get started in October.
Years.
Together. Before it gets far into.
And that doesn't show on this.
Exactly. They already. And the leader was.
Okay, that's fine, I just.
Only other thing on here. January is where it is this year. There.
Have any?
Any editing mistakes?
Have you put in the end of yet?
In the semester report. Semester December 18th.
Those.
Oh, they do. So I need. Oh, did you find it?
Oh, okay. When does
27.
on the calendar?
Ask.
In May.
Yep, it's hard. Thank you. See, there's little details.
Nice, nice.
Okay.
We've got
Should be double.
we've got a lot of
Well, it is.
Gosh darn it.
It
We're
is.
going to Ames as well. How does this line up?
So for students who take classes at Ames first semester, they usually have streams. Or our, so yeah,
Lines up.
easily
You can do
accommodate.
it.
Yeah. I think if you're gonna take summer classes at Ames, that one my daughter also did. And they start the last week of school year.
And that is.
Thanks. It's not an easy.
Correct. We have, last item, discussion, board meeting
mean, we do whatever you'd rather. Or
I don't love the 12th, but band-wise,
The budget, budget. Good.
Is combined fire.
Wednesday.
I prefer not the.
You guys were discussing
yeah,
something.
it doesn't give us a long time.
I'll just. It's.
There's not anything on the school calendar for Monday, is there? Just for anyone.
Yeah, there's nothing the evening of the 11th.
They have a conference on the 11th.
The 11th.
I can do fine. Just
We just shoot for the 11th. Okay, we will move third board meeting. 11th. Done. Okay. Four. Don't have a whole lot this month. For a meeting. I'm very happy with the way that you trying to all that. That's really big project. Highlighting. I would have never guessed in a million years. Very impressive. Celebrate that.
Everything good. Break for a while. But other than that,
Yeah, I was gonna say just getting into the full swing of school now. Don't have to run forever, I feel like. And then I have this really cool opportunity to go to and now I forgot Advocacy Day down at the state capitol on the 29th. Get to talk to our legislator haven't really thought too much about what I'm going to say to him because I really love our school, and so I feel like I brag time, but I'll probably think of something. And then I feel like everything's just been moving so fast. Spring sports preseason's kind of starting up. For speech and debate, it's kind of like the middle of the season right now. So, I don't know. Everything's just been going super well. Beginning of the quarter, so or beginning of the second semester, so everybody's been not having super bad grades, I hope. So the GPA average is above average, I hope. And yeah, I think that's all I have.
Well, I'm glad. Very good. I don't. Feeling good about really
have updates blogs. Just set up the athletics date for capital planning. I think you're going to survey boundaries, property lines. Yeah, I had the other update passed along already. They can add that in. We had a meeting. Oh yeah, we had a meeting, but we did have.
Hey, thanks, Justin. Yeah, Carol, a little interesting doing this remotely. I'm just staring at the left side of the board over there. Yep, Ryan.
Sorry, Con.
Sorry, I couldn't see you guys tonight, but happy to follow along with your dogs, as I mentioned earlier. Also, Ryan Foundation, I think I mentioned it last time, but I do have a parent that had reached out to me interested in joining the foundation. So I'll put her in touch with you. I know that more help we can get, the better. So I'll be in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, Con.
Well, to say we were supposed to have our robotics. I think they got through their building the robots and everything, and it's with the programmer. But I think in part of that, not having enough people and the competition, got season good team. But there's some talk about trying to possibly school program going to prime that bit. So that side of things. I can tell you I had a meeting with the economic development today, and the other changes that are still going on. Still really good communication. How do we students go plans of how do we transfer a lot of our students, just be aware this place still got represent city on that, looking how do we partner. That's good. I think in the same thing, 6 is getting a manufacturing program. Hired in person for that. There's some excitement there. Supposed to meet with her this morning. Probably be later in the week. Continue to advocate how do we our school. Right. Otherwise, just the internship. I got my summer intern back. I hired him. he's actually helping us find an assembly rope. So these are kids.
Gotcha.
Eric will give you a
Surprisingly.
testimonial.
Huh? Yeah, I was gonna say, surprisingly enough, go to the chambers and stuff. You got a whole lot of personally alum who are the business. Pretty much about everybody I talked. Oh, sorry, I think we got our curtains actually. We do. Would use.
Somebody media about doing insurance, so this is how, you know, it all. Big thank yous from Waz.
All right, our next. February 11th. Place. Oh, that's right. Policy. We didn't have time to get that on there. So we'll have that on the next. Sorry.
Maybe
Oh, yep,
Not anymore.
26.
Just change.
Shoot, you came to this.
There we go. Hey. Yeah.
I move to be adjourned.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I know. Let's hope I get an A on that.
Thank you guys. Have a good evening, man.